Good morning, everybody. Today I'm gonna show you how to work our Filbert Grass Comb brush. A lot of people have asked me, how do I get all my little feathers so thin when I'm using my paintbrush? And I always say the paintbrush has a lot to do with it. So I'm going to show you today how to use the 1/2 inch silver ruby satin Filbert Grass Comb. And I'm also going to show you how to use the ruby satin #1 monogram liner. Okay, first thing I'm going to say is thank you so much to Don Barrick for the reference photo of this beautiful cardinal. I just fell in love with him when I saw him. So this is Don's original picture, and what I am going to show you today is how to do all these little highlighted areas here around the face and around the chest, and how to pull those little hairs that are on the side here and on top, those little fine little hairlines that you barely see but they're there. So that's my finishing touches. So right now I have the basics. I have my cardinal all painted and everything like that, but right in here is where I want to highlight today, and I'm going to show you how to do that really easy using a comb brush. And if you need to purchase this brush, I will have the reference link on the video here, and you can purchase it at the Brush Guys, which is a brush company. They sell a whole bunch of different brushes. And if you use the code Chris at checkout, you get an extra 5% off. So this is what we're going to work on this morning. So first of all, I will wet my brush, but I will tap it on my paper towel, right? Just to see my all these little hairs that are kind of sticking out here. See that? Okay. So first color I'm going to use is, Vat Orange from Golden. And this is a fluid acrylic. And I'm using a dot. That's it. Then I will use Titanium White. Another little dot. You won't hardly need any paint to do this project, I'm telling you. Well, to do the feathers. I already painted the cardinal. And even maybe a little yellow. I don't know if I'll use it or not, but I always have it on my palette just in case. And this is like a really bright yellow. And I like the bright colors because sometimes when you're going to do the little tip of something, you need to get that extra oomph out of it. So I'm going to put it over here to the side because I don't really need much of it. Okay. So when I wet my brush, what I'm going to do is I always tell my students, don't pull paint from the top. Pull paint from the little side here. And I'm going to make this a puddle of paint. See that? It's almost like ink. And when I apply this brush, I will take this brush and, whoops, sorry. My little brush slipped there. I will take this brush and press on it and separate all those little hairs. See that? They're fanning out. And this brush is loaded. So what I do is I very softly layer the areas here to highlight. And I'm going to go very soft just to wet my center here. Right now it's just color that's going on there. But already you can see that it's picking up a little highlighted color on his chest, right? So I want that to stand out a little bit more. So I will take my white paint and make another little puddle on the side and mix it with my yellow, mix it with my orange, sorry. And now that's gonna be, press it again, see that? And come very softly. I'm not putting too much pressure on my brush, see that? I can see it highlighting already. You can see all these little, see right here? You can see the very soft. I barely have any pressure. If you look at my brush, I'm holding it straight up and I barely have any pressure on that brush. but I already can see that there's a difference between the darker colors here and the lighter colors there. So I will come back with my orange and go over that again. And keep layering it, right? Orange, orange, orange. Now I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that yellow and lighten up that orange. So what I'm doing is giving this paint value. So now this is getting lighter in here. You can tell the difference, how the colors have changed from here to here. Okay. And I will take a little bit more of my yellow and I will press the heel of the brush and spread out all those little hairs on my brush. And I can see it already popping. Then we're gonna do a little bit more highlighting over here. So I'm gonna wet my brush again, pick up my orange, like we just did, pick up a little bit of the yellow, and come here very softly and start highlighting right to the side of it. Look how nice that looks. That's already popping. Come back, little yellow, come over the top here. This also is a great brush to do for like for cats and things like that. But I just love this brush. This is like, I've used this brush forever. One of the first artists that ever introduced me to this brush was an artist in Florida called Jill McFarland, and she does beautiful Santa beards. And I learned how to use this brush back then, and I must have this brush in every size imaginable. I just love this brush. So again, I'm gonna come back here, press my brush to spread all those little hairs out, and do the yellow again to highlight, right? So I'm highlighting here. And what I'm doing is softening up these little hairs because I've done all of this with my brush, but if you can notice, this right now is really popping, and it's not gonna look exactly like fur just yet, but it's because we have to layer it. So I say have patience and enjoy this process, because to me, this is the best part of painting my little cardinal here. I will come to his chest here. I don't want to go that far out just yet. And do my little hairs, because in the front here he has really bright hairs. Okay, so wipe that along there for a minute. Okay, so I can already tell that this is already starting to pop, but I want it to pop even more. Okay, so I will use fluorescent orange from Golden Paints, and with this little bottle you have to shake it to mix all the paint. And I'm going to pour a little bit of that orange on here. See how bright that is? I'm gonna close this bottle, and I always say close it and tap the tip on your paper towel so that you don't get a little crust up here when it dries up. And then I also have fluorescent pink. And I will do the same thing. I will shake it. When you hear that little ball, then you know it's good to go. And I will put it right next to my orange. And again, I will close my lid and wipe it on my paper towel. Now I've used all these paints, so now I'm going to go straight into my fluorescence. So I will take my orange, and this is a very, very light highlight. Don't paint the whole anything with just this color, because this is just to highlight and get your eyes to look at a certain area. So today we're just working on final details and how to make that painting pop. We're not teaching you how to paint. We're just teaching you how to create a nice pop. And why don't I use a fan brush? Well, fan brushes are kind of oval, and I look at it as a rake without the little corners here, right? So I have a lot more, and let me put it against the orange, a lot more little tips that are really fine. So I use the rake for other things. I mean the fan brush for other things. So this is my rake, and I will come here and very subtle put some of that color on my cardinal, right? Put some over here. Then I will rinse that color out, pick up some of my fluorescent pink. Kind of matches my nails, right? Come right on the little tips here. And what happens is, when this dries, this color here is gonna catch your eye. So I can already see that all of this color here is highlighting, and the little body of my bird is over here. So if you want, you can throw a little highlight here on the sides. But I don't usually do that because I want my highlight just to be in this area right here. Okay, so now I will put this brush aside. And like I told you, I will have this little number. This is a size 1 Ruby Satin 2522 S monogram liner. So what I do is I take my fluorescent color, believe it or not, and mix it with the pink here on the corner. And see how pinky that is? Pick up a little bit of the oranges that I've used and mix them together. And what happens is this color is going to highlight all the other ones. So when you do this brush, make sure you turn it until you get that nice little point again, and then start pulling some of those hairs. Let's see if it shows up on the camera. Okay, so I will take a little bit of my fluorescent, a little bit of my white, my orange. Take a little bit of the yellow too. And turn it, swirl it around until it comes to a nice point. And now I'm going to pull some of those hairs out. And you can tell already that they're starting to separate from the other hairs. Let's use the fluorescent just by itself. And it just does a fine little line. So you can see, yes, there is a feather there, but it's not in your face. Okay, so let's take a little bit of that white with the pink, fluorescent paint, and just give them some little hairs, right? You don't have to do a lot of this. This is just a little touch of it. Come here. Move that over. Now, see how this area here of him is very straight? I don't really like that. So I will take all the colors that I used in my mixture here, and I am going to very softly bring some of those little hairs out. You're barely going to see them, but they're going to be there. And bring them out of the body. See that? And you're going to layer it and layer it and layer it. Don't try to do it all at one shot, because this is soft. You want it to be, see, soft. You're seeing the little hairs come out. Put a little bit of this in here. And I just move my paint around so that all my colors work good with each other. Let's take a little bit more of that orange and put a little bit right in here. Oh, that's too light. And so just I come back with a little bit more of the dark. There we go. That's what I want. And you can tell that this little guy is starting to pop. just by adding those little feathers right there. I'll add a few more over here on the side. It doesn't have to be like really strong, just enough to soften him up. Then as you get to the bottom, you can do, let's see if the bottom shows up. There we go. As you do the bottom, you can bring some of those out even more. And I keep wetting my brush and putting water. I'm making this very fluid so that it can move around on my palette. So I will come here and let me put some yellow on there. Because this is the front of his little belly. And this is how I do my feathers. So when you go home now and you watch this video, just practice on a piece of paper first, or if you have a painting that you thought your feathers could have been a little bit better, go over it with your brush. And I will play with this for another half an hour or so, so you don't need to see me play with this for half an hour, but you can tell here that all of these little hairs are nice and soft. I'm going to bring some here to the outside of him. And that's just softening up a little bit of the hairs. And right here, I can make some nice thin ones coming out. Whoops, sorry, out of range. So let's bring this down. So here what I do is all these little ones here, I will bring some of them out longer. See that? Just by extending that just a little bit, just a tad, it makes the little head a lot fluffier. See that? And I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of taking my paint here and barely touching the surface. See here, this is too thick, so we need to soften it. So I will come right on the side here and bring some of those hairs out, and now you don't see that little mistake there. Same thing here. Let's do a little bit more of these longer ones. Here there's a little hair. So see, by just doing that, you're softening up your little cardinal. So share with me some of your pictures. Tell me if you liked it. Let me know if there's another technique that you would like to learn. Just put it in the comments section. And that's how I do my videos. I just listen to what you ask me, and that's what I work on. So whatever you want to learn next, just let me know, and I will pull a little bit of those hairs out here. And there you have it. So enjoy creating your little hairs. I can see all my little textures in here. And when this dries really good, I'm going to do the same thing with the black. I'm going to bring some of that black in here, but I want it to dry first. So enjoy your painting. Keep me posted. Subscribe, please, so that my numbers keep going up. And if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.